Anybody raise back? I'll start here and go on right around. I don't know your name, so.
I'm just here, listening for the Krogers.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
You're for Kroger's or just to hear about Kroger's?
Just to hear about it.
Okay.
My name's Ricky. I work for Kroger, but I'm just here to hear what's going on.
Okay.
Tom, I'm here to see what's going on with Kroger Jim.
Sue?
I know.
AJ?
Same thing.
Becky was, same thing.
Vicky? You got questions about those start?
I was gonna say, if you're not gonna open it up and tell everyone what's going on, then I'll ask a couple questions that I have.
I'm going to answer everybody's questions that I can. No. Don't start that. I mean it. I'm going to answer all the questions that I can answer that I know of as now. That's a righteous instant. Okay, go ahead.
Can you basically tell us what is going on? You have told me that Kroger has come to you with an offer. Kroger has come to you and you counter-offered things that you wanted. And, the rumors are out there that Kroger has gone and made a bid on the beet plant lot, that they've gone over here and made offers on the houses on the one up against the fence row. Is that all true?
The offer on the beet lot, I do not know for a fact. And the only reason why I know on the houses is because Richie, some of his friends over there, Richie, own a couple houses maybe?
Couple pieces, I don't even really know them, but they called and told me.
It's
Mr. Price would probably know, he got real estate over there,
Correct.
they come to you?
They've come to me, my extended family owns some
Correct.
other property over there, they came to them.
Yeah, your wife and
Correct.
brother-in-law,
Correct.
so, pretty sure.
There's offers out there, that's all I can say.
Okay, so as of right now, basically, you guys, there's nothing where you guys have actually said, hey, you're gonna give me this, this, and this, and I'm gonna give you this, this, and this. You're still in the talking stages.
what I told them when they come back with this other proposal. Besides what they've already, and I'll read it to you, just so nobody thinks I'm lying. Okay. This is what they initially started out with, 2 years ago. They got us, and this is what we need in writing, everything will come back.
Excuse me, Harold, before you start that,
Yeah,
2 years ago,
yes.
this is what this is from. 4 months ago, you told us this was a dead horse, it was a dead deal. So why bring that back up if it's a dead deal?
Because they changed what they were willing to offer, which made it more attractable, I should say. Everybody was worried the last time that you were gonna be camping down in the lower beet lot, parking down in the lower beet lot. Now they're to where they're gonna try to buy that 11 point some odd acres over there, so the campground, so everybody hears this. Our intent is to leave the campground exactly where it is. The parking, instead of parking over here, you will park over in that 11 point odd acres. Now, that is I don't know what the heck word to use here, the hinging point. We have to have parking up here. We're not going to have parking down below. Yeah, we're going to use, like we always have, down the hill and the overflow in the beet plant. But our main parking is still going to be up here. It's just going to be on the other side of the campgrounds. So, and these are things that they said initially they would do. First one doesn't matter. It's got to be the local specified acres, which we all know they want 11 acres. They have to assume the cost to move the Visitors Bureau either here, somewhere else, or be here on the grounds, but down farther, or somewhere else. They have to assume the cost of moving the horse barn across the street or constructing a new one. Kroger's agrees to leave the North Street closed the week of the fair and Baker and Boddickson's auction. They have to have state-approved access cut to 53. There's another hinging factor. They don't get the cut, they don't get the parking, we're not going to do it. It's going to make a mess right out in front of the fairgrounds. Amount of Kroger spaces that they'll give us during the fair. They said they would, don't know how many it is. Purchase a 12 acres residential area and a 23 acres in the beet lot. Kroger pays all legal fees. Presentation of Kroger Company to the public when the transaction takes place. As I said, we would have a public meeting. Yearly sponsorship to the fair. Provide shuttles during the week of the fair, which we might have another alternative, but they don't have to do that. Present written documentation of completed project and the full offer of the real estate and the projects included to be included with a done date by Kroger's approval and the disapproval of the Sandusky County Ag Society. The other one is a transaction will take place, both Kroger and Sandusky County Ag Society will serve as good neighbors. That's pretty much it, other than the bottom says the Fremont Raceway has done a long history of for 60-plus years of Sandusky County Fairgrounds. It's important to keep the Speedway as a partner to the Sandusky County Ag Society along with the Racers Hall of Fame building. There's pretty much everything I know.
So the questions that she just asked you, that you said you didn't know nothing about,
I
you
did
just
not.
read. You said you didn't know nothing about the beef plant, you didn't know nothing about them approaching people over there.
No.
You just read it in black and white.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I said, I don't know if they approached it, and I was told they have a contract with the Kroger Company, or the beef company for that Plains Raiders. Nobody's ever told me that. Yeah, I knew they went over there, and because Richie said, Wenke's handling this, I knew that. What
She
the
just
offers
asked
are,
you, and then you said you didn't know, and then you just read it off. That's my point.
I don't know that they've made offers yet, is what I'm saying. Yes,
Well,
I
now you do,
know.
because you just read it. So now you.
I don't know that they've made offers. Do you understand that part?
We have not heard it from Kroger's. We've heard it from
Everybody else.
everybody else, but we have not heard anything from Kroger.
Didn't somebody over there just say that their relative was approached?
Right,
But
well,
that's
Richie's
not-
told me, he told me
What they're saying, what the fair board is saying is that Kroger's did not call them or write them a letter and say, hey, we've approached these people. That's what they're saying.
We have no idea what they're doing.
Obviously, they're not running Kroger's business. Kind of hard to say what Kroger is doing or not doing.
My understanding then, if this is a, if it's a done deal, then Kroger has offered to buy all them houses and make that into a parking lot so that we will not lose any of our ground.
that's what we proposed to them that they have to do, one of the stipulations for us to consider this, and the 23 acres down below. Right now, we get it every year for simply submitting a piece of paper that says we have insurance the week of the fair on their beat lot.
Have they come back with any idea as far as when they will have a proposal, a reappraisal to you guys as to what they're willing to do? Or is it just gonna drag on, or you got a time limit on it, or?
The time limit I can tell you, because their broker told me this, if it happens, and everything goes through as planned, they will start construction the week after our fair. If they come back to me since the initial meeting in February, no.
But I mean, they can't go and start without the fair board saying, yes, we're gonna agree to this, so that's what I'm saying, they can't, you haven't got any timeline on when they may be coming back to you with a counter offer.
No. All I know is they said they want a new store by 2015, or sometime in that year.
And then if that comes back, you will let the public know, correct?
We're gonna have a public meeting. Hopefully Kroger's will have some I know they're gonna have drawings on theirs, some things we wanna do as far as the entrances, we're gonna try and get them to have their architect draw that up.
And I guess my last question to you is, if this is a go, will you as the 21 members decide it, or will you put it on a ballot to be voted by the public?
It will be decided by the 22 board of directors, like it says in the law, in the red book.
What happens if the adjacent properties won't sell?
Then we're not interested in selling. We're not interested one bit in moving the parking lot down below. Overflow, yes, it's understandable. Richie even understands that. Occasionally, he has to use that down
We use it weekly.
You
This-
can't have them, the older people, they
there. As
can't
far
get
as
up
our
there.
main parking lot, no, it's gotta stay up here.
Yeah, they can't get up there.
When can he send letters to those property owners over there, telling them what their property is worth or appraised at?
I'm assuming they sent letters, that's what I've heard, whether they appraised it, I don't know.
They're going door to door. They've not sent any letters, they're going door to door.
Unsealed bids on their door.
John, you know more about it than me then. I don't.
I have a buddy that owns 3 properties over there, and my foreman's in-laws live over there. They've all been approached for very low ball offers, insulting low ball
Okay.
offers.
That's, I understand that, part of what you just said. But here's also what I want you to understand that. Them offering lowball figures has nothing to do with this board. They're the ones that have to buy. You know, we're not telling them to go in there if it's a $70,000 house or $100,000 and offer them $20,000. That's between Wetke, Kroger's, and the homeowner. We have no part of that.
Yeah, but my point is if you tell them the property's not for sale, none of this would even exist. We wouldn't even all have to be sitting here right now. Property is not for sale, bottom line, done deal.
There's a reason why the property is for sale. This board.
Show us some pros. All we see is cons here. That, you know, that we gotta interrupt the whole residential neighborhood, tear down people's homes, to put a parking lot in, which we already have a parking lot. So you tell us what good sense that makes to do that, when we already have a perfectly good parking lot, to tear down people's homes and move our parking lot.
What makes good sense is this board hopefully gets enough money to stick $1 million into this fairgrounds, which it ain't gonna take long to eat up, because you got $100,000 for roads. Chris Kaiser, you can ask him, because he already gave me a figure, over $100,000 to upgrade our electric. You've got water lines, pardon, Rich? 200. Well, he's upped it more then. Probably another $100,000 worth of water lines need to be replaced. Our face look, I guess you could call it, of the buildings all look good. We're not gonna dispute that. There's things that need to be done in the buildings. Hopefully, there's enough money left over that we can put it in an endowment fund that cannot be touched other than the interest. Or whatever we set it up, more than likely it will be at least 20 years. That will sustain this place. It'll give us a cushion to do some bigger projects. Right now, John, we can't do any big projects, or other than one a year maybe. $100,000 roads we can't do. And
You guys can.
huh?
You guys can.
What do you mean we can?
I'm saying the proper committee could probably get that handled.
We can't get asphalt donated when we asphalted the Anderson Arena, or the dairy barn, or when we asphalted out front. Nobody wanted to donate nothing towards that. We took the lowest bid, which was M&B at the time. You know,
So money is the only pro that we get out of selling this property and tearing down people's residential homes.
no, the pro is that'll sustain this place basically forever and a day. You know, John, your kids
It's
show.
been here forever and a day.
Right.
And nobody sold our property off to sustain it for this long.
Well, I'll tell you, here's a little known fact. You probably don't even remember it, I'm sure you vote though, right, John?
What's that?
You vote?
Of course I do.
Okay. What happened? I'm gonna tell you, it was May 9th, 2001. We were desperate for money. So instead of trying to sell some of this off, we went to the whole county for a levy. You know what? You know how much we got out of that levy? Nothing. It got defeated. About like 80%. So we managed to sustain ourselves for 12 years on what little bit of money we've had. And it's getting to the point where we can't hardly sustain ourselves. Can't really. You heard him, was in the general check-in, $13,000. 5,000, what was it, 7, John? Jason, 5 or 7 for the historical barn, which we cannot touch, because that's what it's designated for. We're trying to make sure that this place, the racetrack, stays. You know, yeah, if Kroger had $50 million and could buy the whole thing, yeah, we'd think about moving probably, to a nicer place, bigger place, but that's not feasible. That's the whole purpose, John, believe it or not. No, you ain't gonna believe me, but believe it or not,
You know, I would believe you, but 4 months ago, I sat here and you told me all the same stuff. In 4 short months, this has resurfaced and another deal has come up. You told me it was a done deal, and I had letters from the mayor, and I had letters from Kroger Corporate that proved you wrong. But you didn't want to hear that or see it.
You sat there and lied to the whole group of us
No, I
and told us
didn't.
it was a done deal.
The current-
The
the
property
deal-
is not for sale. He slammed his hands on the desk and said, some things are just not for sale.
We did.
And look at us, 4 months later, we're back
I didn't slam my
here.
hands on desks.
No, he did, this older gentleman right here. Yes.
The deal.
And I
changed.
still feel that
I
way.
feel that way too, Bob, I'm with you.
I don't care.
Some things are not for sale.
When this came back up, I said I'm against it, and I am yet.
Thank
I
you, Bob.
agree with you, Bob.
I agree.
I'm not gonna sit here and listen to all this.
And I hope that we all, the whole community wants to kick in for things we need.
We will.
You know, we put it on Protect Our Fairgrounds and the Facebook page of the fairgrounds. We need to help out, strictly volunteers, no money involved whatsoever, at that Winter Wonderland. You know how many we got?
I know I was here.
We got Shelley, and her friend Shelley's the only ones I seen here. You put the display up. I will grant you that.
Michelle was here,
I was here, my
Amanda Woodmaker was here, I was here, Kaiser was here,
Yeah, okay.
Shelley was here. It counts. It's free help.
But out of all the people who were at that last meeting, which was a lot more than what's here tonight, they were all willing to help. And we haven't seen it.
Until you told them what they wanted to hear, and then they went home and laid down. Right?
I guess.
Exactly. There was I know that we asked for a list, we never did get a list.
Right.
I mean, that's a debatable deal. I mean, we did ask for a list of things you guys needed help with to get done.
You know,
And it's never been, that's never been produced. So there is people.
okay, Rich, you need help with the water lines, correct?
Yes, there is going to be a need for new water lines, absolutely. And I invested my own money to get the water line in the grounds, the new 8-inch line,
No, I'm
with
talking
a
about,
T off of it.
I'm talking about the one going up the grandstand.
And I'm getting to that. But keep in mind, I made the initial investment. The new line, the T, everything you need to expand off of that. I mean, that was $25,000 of my money. That put that in there.
I understand.
And everybody can branch off of it. I mean, it's not like there's no help here. I mean, to say there's no help is, it's insulting to me because I donate above and beyond.
I know you do. You're not gonna hear me say that you don't, Richie. Never said that.
I'm just saying, we asked for a list. If you want to say, well, we said we could come decorate some damn trees. At the end of the day, we got the money to pay for the decorations, which the companies did not get thanked properly. They didn't get listed on the sheet properly. They're pissed off, and then they call me because they're mad. Frickers is pissed.
Their name is on that list, Rich.
It wasn't on the sign coming in. It was in, you had to look in your rearview mirror to see the shit. And it's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just saying, if you want help, provide the list.
I've tried this
and
a
we'll help.
million times.
I get it. I'm not beating you up about it. I'm just saying,
I'm only one person, and Shelley told me
We know you're
Tucker
one
was on that list that I knew about.
we understand you're one person. And the other 21 people here need to understand you're one person. Step up a little bit.
Connie.
I do have one more thing and then I'll let Connie go.
All right.
I see good and bad on this. I haven't decided exactly how I really feel about it yet. I guess my one last question is, if you guys go through with this patrol over now, what is 5 years down the road, you get another board in here and they decide, well, we'll sell off another part. Once you get a ball going on something, it just seems to keep going in order to raise the easy money to get things done.
I won't be here.
I really, and see, and that's why I'm saying, is you've set it in motion already, so maybe the next group that comes in and say, hey, they did it, they sold it off, they got easy, whatever amount of money you're gonna get, so let's just sell another couple acres off so we can keep going, and pretty soon we're not gonna have a fairgrounds left. My kids, I was not a fair person. I grew up in the city, I did not know the fair from the hole in the ground, and my kids grew up on this fair. And I want my grandkids to come to this fair.
Well, you
And I
know,
wanted to be here.
that's what we're trying to do. John, your kids showed here.
Yes.
My kids showed here.
I grew up right there, walking distance from here.
Yeah, I knew when you lived out on 70.
Right, but still,
You know, what you just said, I won't be here.
I won't
That
be.
is the biggest cop-out I've ever heard, Harold. That's what our mayor is saying about the freaking reservoir.
Well, no.
I'm not the mayor no more, out of my hands. He's the one that started that ball. That's her that's her point. You start a ball in process, and just because you won't be here anymore, we still will.
Oh, no.
We got this wound to
You
heal.
know why I won't be here? Because you can ask Vicky, because Vicky's not, I'm not one of Vicky's biggest fans. But I've never lied to her, and she can testify to that.
He has never lied.
You weren't here 4 months ago?
Well,
All right
I
then, he
was
lied to
here.
you.
All right, here's why, John. Because all the people that are out there are going to replace this board supposedly. So I guess, yeah, I won't be here if I get replaced.
So back down from this Kroger deal. When's this big box stuff gonna end? You know, they're gonna have a furniture store out there. I personally got ties to a small mom and pop furniture store in this town. You know, they're gonna sell furniture in this big box store. When's that gonna end? When is the big corporate stuff gonna stop taking over our small town? Right now. We're not selling the Kroger.
That's not, if you're talking on the whole picture of Fremont, that's something we don't control. Yeah, we can control this little section right here.
Yep.
But here's another one, Richie knows this. Myers has been looking for over a year. Giant Eagle supposedly is now in town looking. So the big box stores are, I hate to say it, and I patronize Ace Hardware as much as I do Lowe's, and I still go to Shades. But the big box stores are what's coming. You know it, John. You're in
bring them
business.
here.
Yeah,
Don't
we'll
bring
put them
them
on our
on
fairgrounds.
down. Take them east.
Yeah, there's nothing applied, nothing involved. You haven't put it.
Once it's gone.
We don't need that money.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hey, guys, I'm a local business owner, like everyone else, and I understand it's a very emotional issue. I don't know if I agree with everything that's going on, and everything that's going on, but I guess part of it I gotta look at is it 21 people?
22.
Or 22 people? You guys elected 22 people to serve the best interest of this group. Trust them. I mean, I don't know everything that's going on. I'm a local landowner. I've got some interest in here. I'm a local business owner. Hell, do I want to see all this business go out here? No. But by the same token, I got to sit down and there's a lot of emotion, but I guess I also have to sit down and say, we got 22 people here that are elected by a lot of other people. Let's trust them.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
you sponsor the fair?
Do I sponsor the fair?
Correct.
Well, you mean, do I go to the fair? Do I?
Do you and your company sponsor the fair?
Probably. I don't know. I sponsor so damn many things. I don't
Do you
know.
guys get any sponsorship dollars from Smiley Tire?
I don't know if you do or not. Well, if not, no, then I guess I don't sponsor the fair, but I sponsor so many things. Why, is that a dig? Is that a dig for me?
Just asking questions.
No, I want to know, that was a pointed question.
Chris,
Now I'm
have you
taking a
ever
little
been
offense. Well, I'm taking a little offense now.
No, I'm just saying, have you ever been asked to sponsor the fair?
Hell, I don't know.
Probably not.
I mean, I get to sponsor,
That's why
I get asked to sponsor everything from a
Everybody
child
has
care
been
to, but Rich, that's a point, I mean, now you, what, you're calling me a cheap ass, or you're calling me
I'm not calling you a cheap ass.
no, Rich,
But
that's,
if you're a concerned citizen and you're concerned about the fair.
I'm concerned because I live right down the goddamn street, okay? And, I mean, you guys are beating these guys up, give them a chance to do their job, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm not giving them a chance to do their job.
I don't know, it seems like everyone's just trying to beat them up on
Have I
it.
said anything negative at all?
No.
One word?
No.
Have I? Harold?
I haven't seen a lot of support. All I guess, I'm just trying to say, you got 22 people here that you've elected to do a job, give them a chance, let's not nitpick.
It's a lot easier to say that when you stand a chance to gain.
I beg your pardon?
When you stand a chance to gain.
A chance to gain what?
On the real estate, you stand a chance to make money here. So
Well, I could.
everybody understands why a person stands a chance to make money.
Rich, you want to know the truth?
All for everyone.
You want to know the truth? I've got my house, I got rental properties. I don't want to move. I don't want to move. I got a 4,000 square foot house and a pool, and hell, I don't want to move. Now, if I could gain, yes, but no, I don't want to move. Hell, my kids grew up in that house. I don't want to move.
We move forward.
You know, I went through this with I'm not looking to get out. I guess my whole point, this has nothing to do with me. All I was trying to sit down with this group is to sit down and say, you guys elected this group to do a job, give them a chance to do their job. And trust them to do what you elected a group of 22 persons to do.
Thank you, Chris.
So, I'm sorry, I get a little emotional once I.
Connie?
Yes, getting back to the Visitors Bureau,
Yes.
when they built that, you remember, you were
Yep.
on the board, wasn't that to go to the Visitors Bureau for what, 25 years?
Yep.
And then it was turned over to the Fair Board?
Yep.
Okay, what happens if you sell that? Who is gonna have the answer to do that? The commissioners?
Well, it's just a matter of whether if Kroger buys it, it's going to stay on that parking lot side. If not, then it has to be moved.
Mhm.
Commissioners are aware of it?
Commissioners are aware of it.
Yep.
But if they move it someplace that is not on our grounds, then how is the Agriculture Society going to have that back in 25 years? You understand what
I
I'm
understand
saying?
what you're saying. It's far away from that even being.
Okay, now get back to if it is sold, that is, and the money you say is going to be put away, and maybe nobody can touch it for 20 years or whatever. Who's to say if a new board comes in here and they reascend their motion that you guys made back, whatever, then what happens?
Because if you set an endowment fund up and,
Kind of like a trust?
yeah, it's like a trust, other than you can't be touched.
So many.
Fremont, John, do you remember Howard Downs? Boy, I teach you before, Prodigy. There's an endowment fund for him, and that's been going on for 20 plus years, and that's all they can, every year they give the interest to the young farmers. The principal can never be touched. So, there's one over in Bavaria, school set up like that, and they tried that, and once it's set up, it cannot be broken. Doesn't matter whether you get new board members or not. So. Yeah, you got anything else?
So what good is having all that money if you can't get to it?
You can draw
The
it.
building falls down and you need to rebuild for $400,000, and you got 60 grand in interest coming in.
Never
You need
go there.
400 grand to rebuild that building. What the hell good is it sitting in the bank?
It ain't gonna be rebuilt in 1 year to begin with, you know that.
What?
It ain't gonna fall apart in 1 year. If storm comes through, that's what the insurance.
That ain't a
is for.
storm.
Well, it's not gonna fall down then.
Okay.
Any more?
I have some questions for you.
You are,
Tanya Phillips.
okay.
I have a question. You said there's how many people on the board?
22.
As of this time right now, are all 22 on board with this, or do you just have a certain percentage that are on board, or?
It's never come to, well, it ain't come to a vote, but I don't know, I can't tell you until it goes to a vote, how many's on board.
I'm just-
Probably over half of them, is a guess.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because you said that since you said you don't have a deal with Kroger's, but then you kind of do have a deal with Kroger's, so I'm wondering how you can say, well, or how Kroger's can be going and buying up houses or offering money for houses and you don't really have a deal with them, or you haven't really took a vote or said, hey, let's go forward and do this, or,
The
you know.
executive committee,
And how many are on the executive committee?
8.
So all 8 are agreeing to this? That was your
No, not all 8.
Bob, another one.
So how many does it take of the executive committee to pass something like this through? I mean, say everybody else doesn't want nothing to do with it and they all say no. Can the executive committee still push it through without everybody else?
No, you have to have a majority vote 12.
Okay. So the public meeting that Kroger's wants to hold, if all of this goes through, is this going to be before you've signed papers or
Yep.
after you've signed papers?
The 4 papers.
Okay. And another question I have is what changed from last November to now?
12 acres.
Okay. And where is the 4-H building going to be relocated to?
Over here, we used to have a maintenance house.
Okay. So I just want to make it very clear that you're saying that even if you do sell that off and keep the money, that you're saying that the money is going to stay here in this fairgrounds and that you're not planning on relocating it anywhere? Because we've heard rumors that you're planning on going to Lindsay, you're planning to go out by Terra. I mean, so, I mean, there's, I'm just saying, when you guys don't make your plans clear, that's what causes rumors. So, okay. So, another thing I have is, are you aware that when Kroger's goes in, the dirt from the racetrack over here, are we gonna have problems with the EPA and the environment? Because we all know that the dirt from this track travels to vehicles sitting out at the end of that parking lot. And so what are you gonna do when the dirt from this track is hitting Kroger's customer vehicles, it's laying on their vehicles? The noise from the track alone is, we all know how horrendous that is, and you've got a store sitting over here, and you've got dirt going into all of their vents, and then what happens when they start barking this way and calling the EPA? Well, then what happens?
Yes, Melissa, did you not interview Kroger's a little bit where they said they're aware of the racetrack and the storage of the racetrack in the grounds?
Yes, they were aware. I can't remember the specifics, I apologize. I didn't review the stories before I came here.
And Richie, how many nights, didn't you tell me how many nights actually the wind blew out of the southeast where it would affect that?
According to Norm Van Ness, it's 3 times a year.
And in a long story short, I get the dirt for the racetrack on my vehicles however many times a year, 3 times, 10 times, I don't care. You know what? I bought a house near the racetrack.
Well, I
You
know
deal
that.
with it.
I understand that, but I'm talking about customers that are shopping at Kroger's, and then they're mad because they're coming out because, you know, they've got dirt on their vehicles.
You know, if your car's sitting at Kroger's for 10 hours and you get dirt on it, then you know what? You probably got bigger issues because you're sitting at Kroger's for 10 hours.
One other question. The last time we left out of here, I remember farmers standing up and telling you, hey, if you decide to sell in the future because you said this was a dead deal, why don't you give us first choice at buying this land? So what has changed? What makes Kroger more special than somebody here purchasing it? I mean, if it's just about money and you just need the money, then why inconvenience everybody over there, bulldozing their houses, and why not let farmers or John Horn or somebody purchase that piece of property from you if all you need is the money, and then this will all be done with. You won't even have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Because I remember him asking you, and you said, most certainly, we will consider that. So has it been considered?
They want to throw an offer on it?
What's the offer you've been given?
We've not gotten one from Kroger's.
Then how do you know what you're working with?
We don't.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it seems awfully odd and unique that if you had a set amount of money you wanted to spend, and you're going to spend X amount of it on houses, and down here, I'm assuming they got the money to back them to buy it.
What are you looking for? What's your minimum? I mean, what will buy you out?
What will buy me out?
What will buy this board out to make them say we'll sell? I'm just saying. I mean, to me, I can imagine someone coming and wanting my land and going and buying houses, and I don't even know what kind of money I'm working with.
Right.
I'm not a businessman as far as Kroger's goes. I'm sure they know how much they want to spend, you know. You know, they want to buy, as everybody's aware of, the south end of Outer Village. They were going to put a store there.
Right.
Station. 2 things stopped them. 1, the railroad, because they couldn't have a gas station at most. And 2 is Line Street is an extension behind the shopping center. So they couldn't build there.
Right.
This is what I'm told. Because I know everything, and I'm one of them. I don't understand why they didn't go buy Ponderosa plus that big lot to the north of them. Gas stations, this is rumor, gas stations cannot be within X amount of feet from a nursing home. True or false, I don't know. That was what I heard.
So if Kroger decides
Is
not
that
to,
right?
right. So if Kroger decides not to do this and they don't get it through, if someone else comes through, you're going to sell to them too? I mean, is this just going to be never ending until you finally get rid of that lot and the money's in your pocket?
If it's 10 years from now, I can't answer that because some of us won't be here.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we all have to stand here and fight for the next 10 years for a piece of property.
You're probably right, because, I mean, if you look at this piece of property, it's about guys, I'm not a marketing analyst, it's about car count. Why is Walmart where they're at? Why is Lowe's where they're at? Because all the cars flow through there. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to this, I'm just trying to say, from a marketing standpoint, when these big companies come in, they're gonna sit down and say, where are the cars flowing? Wow, look at this piece of property. It's always going to be there, you're right. Maybe if it's not Kroger's, 2 years from now, it might be Meyer, it might be whatever. I mean, and
I just
then,
can't-
and
I'm
we
just
might
trying
be
to
here
figure
having
out
this
the
battle in
layout.
2 years.
I'm just trying to figure out how you're gonna do this, because if they have to do and come in off of 53, right? That's what you're saying, off of Rawson Avenue into Kroger? They have to have an exit or entrance?
Yeah, 53.
And then the parking lot's gonna be clear over here? Is it the neighborhood behind here? I'm just trying to figure out how it's gonna lay out and how the campgrounds is still gonna be there.
Our parking lot would be over there.
Our parking lot would be, so they're building, so you're telling me they're tearing those houses down to put us in a parking lot?
Yes. So we're gonna be behind
Yeah.
behind the campground.
And it's
Campground's
gonna
be
belong to the
between-
fair board, or it's gonna belong to Kroger?
Vicki?
Yeah, just a quick question. I thought it was my understanding Kroger was only gonna get from the driveway over. They're gonna get all that parking lot?
They get 12, they need 12 acres is what they need.
So
And
how much does that actually cover in that parking lot over there?
I haven't wheeled it off, my guesstimate is it's gonna go from 53 east to about the end of Visitor Bureau.
Okay, that's where I thought. Okay.
And money's not been discussed?
This is what has been discussed. They had it appraised back a year and a half ago. And the offer was, they said it appraised at $2.1 million. I said, we're not interested. And they kept throwing other things into it. But the money and the parking is a big factor in the whole scenario.
So for simple math terms, in order to get to the number where you get 60,000 a year and you invest $1 million, it's pretty safe to say that you're gonna be in that $3 to $5 million range?
Well, plus
I mean,
whatever.
it's simple math at this point.
Yeah, plus them, we're not buying the houses, or that's, I think everybody should know that. We're not buying the houses. It's not coming out of our money to buy the houses, or the beat plant.
Well, what was the new offer that they brought to you? Did they give
Buy
you?
this over here.
No, did they give you a dollar amount?
Nope. We told them to come back with the most, this is what I told them, come back with the most money you can afford to pay for it at the end of the day, in the bank.
So what are you willing to settle on? Is what we'd like to know.
You
don't even have a figure.
You don't have a figure. Until the whole board comes to an agreement on it. I've got a figure in mind, but not the whole board.
Would you care
How
to
can you
share?
budget for roads, electric, plumbing, money in the bank in a trust fund that you're gonna live off the interest if you don't even know if it's a $1 or $1 million? How can you
Because
base a budget on not knowing what you're dealing with?
if you listen, John.
I'm
I said,
listening.
I've got
I'm hearing you say, I don't know what they're gonna do.
I got a number in mind. I just told you that. I've got a number in mind.
We're asking you what that number is,
My
right?
number is,
Yes.
throw the houses and everything into it. That puts them up over $6 to $7 million.
What's the chunk
So
that
net
is
gain to the
the
fairgrounds is
Society?
about 4 million.
I've got a figure, and it's a lot higher than that.
Bob wants to
That's right, Bob.
If this is the only place in this area that store can be built, they've looked apparently all over town, and this is the only place it can be built, then that is the most expensive, the most valuable piece of ground in this county. And it's not $6 and $8 million, it's a lot more than that,
That's right, Bob.
You
a
were-
lot more.
You were at 20 one day, and then you...
And I'll say it,
And I also heard...
I won't go any lower than 20.
But Bob, let me ask you a question, and I agree with you, maybe it is 20, maybe it's 25, I don't care. Okay, whatever your figure is. Are you ever gonna agree at 25, 30? I don't care, whatever. It's not, I guess what I'm just sitting here is just a guy on the outside. No matter what figure it is, it doesn't sound like you're ever gonna agree. Okay, and that answer could be no. I don't know, I just, Bob threw out a figure, you threw out a
A
figure.
number of other things that I don't think they can meet.
What if they only buy half those houses? Then half those people that grew up, raised their families over there are out of their houses, but yet they still don't have a parking lot.
If they don't buy half of it, if they only buy half of them, it's no deal for us. So why would they buy it?
Right, that's what I'm asking you. They got to start somewhere. Are they starting to buy them? Well, you don't know.
Just making deals. Or making
I don't think so, Brian. I think their offer is subject to everybody agreeing. If you really, I haven't seen any documents,
Kroger's did that on.
but I would have to guess that's how most of the transactions are done.
And the one lady did sell.
If they go in, they're making an offer subject to, there's probably a subject to the fact that they can buy them all. If they can't buy them all, one person can stop the whole deal, would be my guess.
Is that right, or can they fence
I
that
don't know,
one house in?
I don't know if it's right, I'm just saying that's normally how it's done. So,
Okay, my question is you're saying that the parking's gonna be over there. Are you gonna stipulate that they have to have something for the elderly and handicapped? Because that's gonna be really far for them to have to
They
go.
are willing to give us X amount of spots in their parking lot for the week of fair.
We don't know that, it's not right, Harold.
That's what we're waiting to get back. It's in writing. They volunteered to do it, but if it comes back.
What writing? I haven't seen anything in writing that said they're willing to do that.
I said, when they bring it back, everything has to be in
All
writing.
right,
Yes.
so we can't say that that's a given at all.
So you'll ensure that there is something
Yes.
provided
They have to have 500 spots. They're not gonna.
for the elderly and handicapped.
Harold?
Yes, John.
And back to that Kroger's deal about them being well aware of the Fremont Speedway and the dust it produces. The letter I got from Kroger Corporate, the last line on that letter, I had it with me last time, nobody was willing to look at it. The last line of that letter stated the ultimate demise of Fremont Speedway.
They didn't tell.
So if you go to the racetrack and you leave the racetrack with dust on your truck, that's understandable, you went to a dirt track race. If you go to Kroger's and get a gallon of milk and come out and there's dust on your truck, that's a whole different ballgame. People are gonna be bitching, you know, like she said, dust and it said from quote Kroger Corporate, the ultimate demise of Fremont Speedway. The unfortunate ultimate demise of Fremont Speedway.
When they sent it, correct, John?
Yes?
They sent it to you, correct?
Setting to protect our fairgrounds, my group that I have on Facebook.
Yes, Vic.
Okay, I'm not a race car fan. All you people, I'm sorry. But I have a question. Driver has put a lot of money and a lot of time into that racetrack. What is to say in 2 or 3 years from now, if Kroger goes in there, they very well can go to the commissioners and whatever and say, get that track out of there. He's shit out of luck.
Not just he, the whole community.
Yeah.
The racetrack provides lots of income
I
for
know,
lots of
is there
people.
any way you're gonna lock it into the deal that that racetrack is there to stay, that it's not gonna go anywhere?
How, I guess Louis wants to know, or I'd like to know too, how something that they don't own, they can force out.
EPA.
EPA.
Yeah.
I own the
Health,
scrapyard in Tiffin
health and
once,
well,
Harold.
health.
They could
work.
force anything out,
Yeah.
for Christ's sake, if you want
I
to,
had it for
reach
18
that
months,
far.
and Tiffin University managed to put me out of business.
There's a way to put
Now
anybody
granted, I
out
got
of business.
paid. I mean, I didn't do it for
Yeah, if
free,
you want
but,
something out of business,
you know, I went
it
through
goes away.
a very evil lawsuit that lasted, about 3 years. And, but it only took them 18 months from the time I purchased it until the time it was going to be very evident that I wasn't going to be in business anymore. So, and that's a private university, it's not a public college or anything, it's a private business that had its, their fence row was divided by ours, and they managed to get me put on. So anything is possible. And that was done on behalf of dust and dirt, road traffic, all those different things that.
Somebody would, and I guess, I don't want anybody here to afford it, I know I can't, if somebody wants to give us a couple million for the parking lot and give it back to us, that would solve a lot of problems right there.
What's your dollar amount for the 12 acres? Or how many acres?
If we don't have to do anything, according to Bob, it's $20 million. But if you want to buy it, pardon, give it
I'm
back.
with Bob, he understands that that land is supposed to stay with this.
But what I just said is, if you, and say you own a business, very successful business, you want to give us $2 million and let us retain the property, we'll take it.
Have you thought about going to the community?
The community did in 2001.
Have you tried again though? Like try to get it back on the ballot? Maybe you'll see different
they got zero in
people might
2001.
actually care.
At the end of the day, these guys need money to operate. I mean, hands down, they gotta have money to operate. The fair is not providing that. The other business partners that they have, you know, there's only so much water to drink.
Well,
Other county fairs do.
other county fairs are owned by the county, a lot of them. So, and even some of them that aren't. The commissioners have to give us X amount of dollars. The state minimum, they have to give us is $3,200, and that's all we get. There's other fairs that get $50,000, and maybe more than that. Bob would probably know. Is there, Bob?
There's a few, but very few, very few.
We're probably the only one that gets the state minimum.
Oh, there's more getting the state minimum than not getting it. Some of them probably aren't even getting the state minimum.
You know, one thing we're fortunate, I guess, we don't have to pay insurance on all the buildings.
They're paying that.
They're paying that. That would break us to pay all the insurance on these buildings. So, that's everything I got to tell you. Anybody got any other questions?
If this is brought up to a vote,
Yes.
let's just say we made an offer, you guys decided, you know, whatever, open to the public, is it going to be, is it going to be, I don't know how to say it, is it going to be
Ballot or
a
open?
ballot, open, are you gonna go by what the public says, or is the board gonna go by what they want the board? I don't know, what if the public is not for it, majority of them, are you guys gonna, the board, going to take that into
Override it.
consideration before they vote? Before you guys vote for what you want, which is what I meant.
Well, that's gonna be, I guess, everybody on this board's individual opinion. If you want to, they decide to vote for it. I can't tell anybody to vote.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know Bob isn't for it, so.
If the whole county is against it, but you 22 are for it, she's saying, does that weigh at your, does that weigh on your decision to vote for or against, knowing the whole county is not behind you?
This is not just to you, Harold, it's to all the directors,
Yeah.
is what I was trying to say. You know, I don't know who voted, I know Bob, he's not for it, because he made his comment on it. But if the public is there and you've got 300 people there say, no, 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 is the individual board people gonna, if they voted for it or not voted, you know, in their own mind, I don't know if they voted on something or discussed it or whatever, is the individual one, this is what I'm asking the board, because we're here, if you was for selling it, and the 300 people feel it shouldn't be done, are you gonna take that, the people, are you gonna take that in consideration?
That's why the public meeting would be held, is to get everybody's input on it.
That's what I'm asking.
And the public meeting would be held before there was a included agreement.
Yeah.
One more question. How many people on this board, if it came down to a vote, would publicly vote so we, as the people, knew how you voted?
They don't have to tell you.
I know they don't. I just want to know. How many would?
How can you ask that question if you don't know what dollar figure it is? I mean, no, but somebody might say,
I'm just asking,
wait.
if it came to a vote.
no, but you can't ask that question. Bob said he was totally opposed, but if it was $30 million, Bob might change his mind. So now all of a sudden, how do you throw that question out there with nothing attached to it and ask these guys to make a commitment?
Well, then I guess I'll come back to the next, when it comes to it, and ask them that then.
I mean,
What you're asking, is it going to be a public vote?
Correct.
She
Or will it
wants
be a
to
ballot?
show of hands right now, how many people
No,
you
not a
got
ballot,
for
you
it?
want a roll call.
I want a
Roll call vote.
And the way I read the red book, it says it has to be a call of the yeas and the nays. And that means you can't be using the paper ballot.
Thank you, Bob. You answered my question.
And it's also a public meeting.
What? How could you have a motion if you didn't have a public meeting?
And it has to be voted on a regularly monthly board meeting. Can't be a special meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a reason why nobody wants to say yea or nay?
I didn't want to vote tonight.
You want to show of hands right now?
No, I didn't mean tonight. I didn't want to show it tonight. I meant when it actually came to the vote.
But I'm saying, is there anybody here on the board that it isn't for sale? I don't care what the dollar amount is. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
That's
I mean,
$20
is
million.
it all about money? Is it all about the price? Is it all about how much we get? Or is there anybody on the board that says, hey, it's not for sale according to me, I don't care how much you offer,
Well,
besides Bob?
Bob and Pamela. I don't think there's anybody to answer it.
Harold, did you ever answer her question?
I don't think
why
it's
it
a fair
wasn't-
question.
Why it wasn't offered to Rich when you said if it ever comes back for sale, give us the first chance to buy it? How come he didn't have the first chance to buy it?
Richie and I had a meeting along with Chris Kaiser and Randy Mathis shortly thereafter. To be honest with you, I forgot about it. Richie, I would thought would have remembered to say something. Richie wants, like I just told everybody, Richie wants to buy it and turn it back to us for half of what they would be offering.
What if I buy the houses?
Huh?
What if I buy the houses? And then buy the fairgrounds, buy the parking lot? What if I trade you like Kroger? I can buy the one house over there right now for $23,000, take a 5-minute phone call. I guarantee it. I guarantee I can go over there and buy a house within 5 minutes for $23,000. I guarantee it. I'll bet have every dollar in my pocket.
Have it rolled up by 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, what has one house got to do with it anyway?
Well,
You
that's
got
the
one
deal
house.
breaker.
Good
That's the
point.
deal
Buy one
breaker.
house, that means nothing to me.
No,
That's the deal breaker.
Absolutely nothing.
That's the deal
He
breaker.
says it's a deal breaker. If you don't get it all.
$23,000, a house that's worth $23,000 can't be much more than a shack.
But it's a deal breaker.
I was joking.
That's the one that they can't buy. That's the one that Kroger's can't buy. That's the deal breaker.
And if they swear, it's gonna stop at some.
Harold, can I say something?
Yes, we go.
I just want to say, if you get on the computer, anybody who's got a computer can get on and look what's happening to fairgrounds all over the United States. And a lot of them are going in debt so far they can't get out. If the county owns it, the county takes it back. What's the county gonna do with it? Like Old Carver, out of the county. The county owns the property. Now, if an individual hadn't came through and paid off their debt, or a couple individuals, the county would have took that fairgrounds back over. What can the county do with it if the fair is no longer there? They just sold it off. If the cash flow is not here to pay our debts, what does this board have to do but go borrow money? And a lot of fairgrounds throughout the country keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper in debt to the point the bank shuts them off. So what happens now? The bank takes it back. You think a big bank, national bank across the country cares whether this fairground's here or not? No. They'll foreclose on you, they'll take it back and sell it. And that's exactly what'll happen if the financials aren't turned around at this fairground. Maybe not today, maybe not 5 years from now. But if you look at the cash on hand or the capital that this organization or corporation has, it's like any other corporation. If your cash flow and your cash and your capital deteriorates, you gotta do something. You can't keep on the way you are. So where do they go? You guys come up with the answer. Because they're trying to do it the way they've been doing it, and obviously by the capital that this place has, it's not happening. Truthfully, I don't know if they got a choice if it comes up. But it's something you should at least give them a chance to look at and explore. Whether they vote for it, whether it passes, there's a lot of things pending, as the president pointed out, that could make it or break it. But if all those things are available to happen, then they have a very tough decision to make based on what they think, what the public thinks, and what's good to keep this business viable. And I don't know what other choice other than to counterfeit money. Well, we can't do that.
Well, the last fair in the state of Ohio shut down was over 30 years ago. I don't know of one since then unless you know of one.
I'm not a miracle worker, I'm just reading it on, they're talking
I'm just telling you
about the future
what's
of
the history of the
regional fairgrounds.
Ohio fairs are. I also read the IAE magazine, which covers all fairs in the United States of America. I don't read about fairs shutting down.
I'll print it out next time.
So you print it out. There isn't one in Ohio that shut down in at least 30
I'm
years.
talking across the United States.
Well, if the rest of them in Ohio can exist, why can't we?
Can't.
Maybe we're spending too damn much time worrying about something at the Kroger's.
Exactly.
Well, we need to come up with the ideas, because we need cash flow.
Have you, is it too late to try to get it back on the levy ballot, to have a levy for it, where you get more people to volunteer and actually get the word out there about voting yes for the levy?
The guy on the Republican Party, when the deadline, Bob?
Why, it's passed now for this year. If you think you're going to get a levy passed, I think you're dreaming. The people are tired of paying taxes, and they're not going to hold a new tax on, no matter how worthy they may think it is for this fairground. It won't happen.
Right.
And if we were to do that, that would be an additional expense with no guaranteed return.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got a question. How many of you fair board people have actually been to like a lot of the other fairs around or whatever? I mean, is there something, we do a lot of showing, a lot of other fairs, and you know, this is one of the most expensive fairs to get in the damn gate. I don't understand how you can lose so much money, and we go to these other fairs, and I mean, you know, you get in for little nothing, you know, hard to get in here, you know, to bring a family in, get in the gate. You gotta get them in the gate first, so they spend money. I mean, I don't quite get why all these other ones, and they're a hell of a lot nicer fairs in my book. I mean, you know, I've been raised here forever, you know, we've shown here for years. I mean, I guess I'm not understanding what's going on with the, you know, what you have to pay at the gate, but yet
Worcester's $3 to get in the gate.
$3 frickin' a person. I
It
mean,
makes
that's
this
a,
look
There's a lot bigger fair.
I understand that, but you know, we go to Ashland, you go to, you know, Mansfield, you know, all those cheap fairs to get in. I mean, I'm not understanding why the money, you know, why we're having such a problem with the money if the,
On the $3 you're paying at Worcester, that gets you in the gate and that's it. Doesn't get you any rides, correct?
You
I
don't
don't
need to
know.
ride rides down there, it's twice the fare.
I agree, but
We seen Bob there 2 years in a row now, only fair board member ever seen there.
Pat's been there, I've been to Worcester.
I've been there, must have just missed it.
You weren't standing with Bob, so.
Our electric bill on an average, not including the fair, is $4,000 a month. The week of the fair, our bill for that month is $65,000. You turn around and give another $65,000.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
not $65,000.
Or Jason,
68,000 total for the year.
no. How much was it, Jason, for the fair?
I'm not gonna throw a figure on it, I will look.
The total was 68,000, so it can't be 65 for the month of fair.
Got it.
I had sponsored a race night at the end of September.
Yeah.
Chris Kaiser let me in the building, which is the country kitchen, I believe, up there. Close to, yeah. Every freezer, every refrigerator, every light in that building was on.
In what building?
Whatever building that is up there. Huh? Hot dog heaven. Empty freezers running, empty refrigerators running, every light was on in that building.
There's times we come in here and racetrack lights are on the next morning too, so,
Well,
all night long. I pay my own electric, but still.
So what? You paid a little bill.
right, well, that is a direct recon on the $4,000 a month bill when there's nothing going on here. Have maintenance go through them buildings, make sure the freezers are unplugged, make sure the lights are off. And there's a way to keep your electric bill down.
We've tried that, we didn't go through all the buildings. It lasts for a while and then it falls off. But there's something going on in the flower building every weekend, and usually the 4-H building. He doesn't come in at night to shut them off. You know, he's supposed to during the week, go through the buildings, make sure it's turned off. It happens for a while and then it stops.
Okay, that building was locked up tight for a month.
He tried-
I got in it, the freezers were running, the lights were on. Granted, when I left there, they were off, because I'm just that kind of guy. I'm not gonna let freezers run on anybody's electric bill, yours, mine, or anybody.
Here's the difference. Milkshake stand right here. Them guys shut her down, they unplug everything, turn everything off. The Moose, that's who had it this year, right, Ryan? The Moose had that building for the week of the fair. They didn't shut anything off then, is what you're telling us, correct?
Exactly.
You're talking about that building up there by where you stand, for the races, John?
The hot dog heaven on the V.
The green building.
Yeah.
I guess, guys, the long and the short of it is, to Joe's point, treat it like a business.
Exactly.
We have been trying to.
Bob, if it was your business, would you let the freezers run? I mean, my point is, Bob.
Plugging the freezer in and off, shut the freezer on and off is one of the worst things you can do to it.
Well, come on, let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Would you let the lights on?
No, I wouldn't let the
Bob, I'm
lights
not
on.
trying to bust your butt. All I'm just trying to say is, to Joe's point, if this is what we're trying to do, if we're trying to do, you guys are trying to run a viable fairgrounds and make it profitable.
Trying to make it
Okay, and I know we're getting way off subject, but you know, if you need to make this sale or make these other things happen to keep it viable, this is what has to be done.
Make anything else real quick, when you done with the rest of it? Randy?
I'm just very appreciative that you're putting all this out to the public this time around. The last time, it was more subdued. That's where all the stuff and turmoil just started turning into a big mess. So
Here's what I'm gonna tell
I
you.
really appreciate you laying out the line. And even though people went like this tonight, that's what this country is all about, just throwing their opinions out. Hopefully, when we walk out at the end of the day, we're all a little bit better for it.
When initially, there was 3 of us that met with the Kroger people, Kroger broker originally. And he says, we need to keep this thing quiet, once it gets out. So I listened to him.
Good luck to
So
that.
this time, I didn't listen to him. I'm telling everybody. So, I'm gonna tell you about one more thing. It has nothing to do with Kroger sales fairgrounds, and I'm gonna direct it to right behind me, yes, you. Because I remember seeing, I'm not saying you're one of the people that do it, but I remember you used to go to concerts.
Yes, I did.
And people
I
ask
was
why.
the first one in the door, and when I got in the door, the first 4 rows were already gone, and the last concert I went to, I mean, I'm the first person in the door, I'm the first one to see that, all 4 rows are highlighted off, I can't buy those tickets.
That was changed about the last 2 or 3 years.
No, it wasn't, the last one, you took the wings.
Yeah, it was changed.
The last one I went to,
They did change that.
well, the wing seats were gone, we thought, all right, we'll take the wings,
But
and those were gone.
what my point is, and I'm not saying you're one of us
I
can
sat out there for 14 hours. Yeah, I'm not nuts. I sat out there for 14 hours to get shitty seats.
Okay.
That's not right.
I'm
Trying
trying
to
to
control those people that did that shit on the seats.
what I'm trying to get across to you, because you know, you go to a concert, everybody's going to start, people are complaining we don't have concerts. Now here's not a public record thing, public file, I'm going to tell you. We cannot get anybody that is going to sell tickets.
That you know about. Do you have anybody that watches country music?
I
watch it all the
time.
time.
Okay, here's what
I
I can
can
hear.
tell you that you probably should have had Paul Swindell booked a year and a half ago.
Here's what I can tell you.
Before anybody even know his name.
George Strait, $280,000.
You're not gonna get
Now,
George
wait a
Strait.
minute now. The Dixie Chicks, they were $250,000.
What about
Hyper down a little bit.
somebody?
You have to come down, if you get under 100,000, we aren't gonna get anybody that's gonna sell tickets. Joe, am I right or wrong?
I don't know, but
They're
you
all
go to
pricing-
Erie County, and they're usually packed, and they have the up-and-coming people.
No,
Because
Vicky-
we've gone there for the last 5-6 years, and,
Vicki, you were here when we got a lot of them that were up and
Yeah.
coming.
but you
now they're doing-
you get them up and coming now, and sometimes that'll work. But I did know there was a couple, I believe Bowling Green's not even having a concert this year.
Or even somebody that's not up and coming, but an oldie but a goodie. I sat in the pouring rain to watch George Jones. I was not leaving. I sat to watch that, I was not leaving until he was done.
It was 65,000. You know, and so was Ted Nugent that year.
I know when the foreigner was here, I left work and people were pulling off into the bike path to park in the ditch.
Did I not offer to share the risk and share the reward on an expensive concert?
Yes, you did.
Okay, just making sure.
All right, if nothing else, we'll move on. Now, John, if you decide to stay or leave, it doesn't matter to me, but you gotta tell me actually what happened to your lighter or not. There's something wrong with your leg, is that what it is?
Yeah, broken. He wants one of them new handicap Kroger spots.
But they don't know about it, they even got.
We have a livestock sale at Junior Fair Board this Thursday. Yeah, 7:30, and we have decided to make a few sale changes, and they're gonna decide on the other additional changes Thursday night, so.
Louis, parking or admissions and gates.
I got the quote from Whole Ford Lines to get the contract for, I don't know, the next 2 months.
Okay. Martin Louis not here. Denver's not here. Bob Phillips, policy and procedure, any?
No.
Beautification, Pat.
No.
Buildings and grounds, Bill. Campgrounds, Michelle. Carl, what's that, Ryan?
Trying to review contract, insurance, on that. You wanna talk about that?
Is that insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well bring that up. Insurance.
The insurance we offer for our vendors, the insurance company from 2 years ago isn't offering that anymore. Basically, they're giving us $90 to basically put on our insurance, just in case something happens.
The old group
So
has
we
user
have no
liability.
coverage.
Right, user liability, but the company we have now does not offer user liability. I called Highland back to see if we could just get user liability, they said no. And I guess I'm concerned about, like, with things that happen to the worst of us. Do we want to cover everybody's, or do we want to not offer any insurance?
Did Bob McCarthy get back there?
No, he has to go back with me. He didn't think he'd be able to find it, but he was going to look.
We have coverage like that for a couple vendors through King, okay? You may be able to get it. Through
Who we had before?
Kathy Rose at King, technically.
Where are they at?
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
They're huge fair share.
They do a lot of fairs, a lot of recreational stuff.
Pardon?
That's we had one before, but they won't let us have it if we're not going to use our big insurance.
They can't pay $90 and off of our insurance, is that correct?
Yeah, so right now,
As of right now.
How long before you have to know something?
Now we're trying to redo contracts, get them sent out. Be nice in a week here,
We
to
can't,
know something.
we can't just add $90 to the price.
Well, that's what we did last year.
Yeah,
And now we're starting to say, you know, what if, let's just say, like the worst, they got kicked at the winter wonderland. Now we're paying for it with ours. We bought the insurance, extra $90. What if the worst got loose and ran over 6 people and actually killed somebody? Is that going to be, that's on our insurance? We were lucky it was just a small thing, but now I'm saying, what if something big really happens? Or like these parties they have in the flower building, they buy the $9 extra, it was extra money, but who knows what they could be doing in that flower building?
We're still doing that?
I haven't had anybody lately, I tell them to get their own, but I'm just saying, that's the option that we have on the contract.
But we're taking their
We're taking extra
homeowner
$90.
policy, homeowner's policy.
Yeah, that was an option, but if they didn't have it, they were allowed to pay extra $90. That's how we've been doing it, and I think that it needs to change.
But how do we know even, when they bring those insurance homeowners in, how do we know they're gonna cover that? That's just a perfect example right there with that horse situation. Supposedly that girl had insurance.
She had her own, but
Right.
she came in and bought $9 from us. But we don't sell insurance. We were just charging an extra $90 because they didn't have insurance. And
But
that's,
then it was because it would have covered it if it was at her place.
right, they said it wasn't.
If it was at her home, but it did not cover it here.
Right, so that's what.
I know, we're sticking on my house, big time by doing that.
Well, we can wait until we
It
get
was
back
the
to
other.
I think we're taking a big chance.
If it happens here, she is responsible. Because I just talked to Dick Dinall last week about it. The owner is responsible.
Now if it's off.
But you got some people here that they don't have insurance on anything.
All right, hopefully McCarthy will call Chris back and we'll see what's not enough. We can't, right. Yeah, that's right. Chris said all the food vendors have their own insurance, it's the.
Self-contained
Well, like
merchant.
the merchants have, the ones that just do like small businesses in a tent that don't have it.
Don't you think if they buy it from us, it's cheaper?
They can't, we don't sell insurance.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Well, somehow,
That's the thing, we changed the clause, because we cannot sell insurance. We aren't an insurance company.
why do we charge
But
them
we charge them
$90?
extra $90 because they can have insurance.
They'll put them on ours.
To put them on ours, but I'm saying we're taking all the big risk, we're collecting $90. I don't think we should be doing that anymore. I think we need to not offer it, or we need to find a group that will sell us just user liability.
You said this girl was with the horse had bought it for them?
They came in, the group that was here to get
Horse,
lunch money,
oh.
put them in, paid $90 because they didn't have insurance, wanted to use ours.
And we said that they were fully insured then,
Basically, yes.
because we charged them $90.
And they didn't tell us for a while because they thought the owners of the horse insurance would cover it. But their insurance company said they wouldn't cover it because it was not on her farm.
Well, that was a way for us to even offer that, then if that's the case. The insurance company should have said that, held that they would not cover it.
It was their insurance, not ours.
Oh, was that,
Yeah,
the girl's
because
insurance, not?
they originally was going back on her insurance.
They paid $90 because they didn't have insurance.
As a group.
That's what works council bought insurance.
So our insurance covered.
Well, there's no wonder that their insurance company is not going to pay it.
Well, no, if they can get you to cover it, we get you to cover it.
They're assuming that that girl had insurance through us.